Okay, welcome back this week. We began last week talking about surface and groundwater and our beginnings of hydrosphere, which is all the water on our planet. This week we'll begin talking about pollution and different ways that water is impacted by things that humans do. First of all, just pollution is any substance that has a negative effect on the area around it. It's not really a vocabulary word, just making sure you knew. Pollution can mean many different things. First type of pollution, which is your first vocabulary word, is called point source pollution. Point source pollution is when a specific source of pollution can be identified. A common graphic you'll see about this is you'll see a barrel full of oil or something falling over and leaking directly into a river or a creek or something. Therefore, you can look at it and know exactly where the pollution is coming from. That would be a point source. Conversely, a non-point source pollution is a widely spread source that is difficult to link to a specific point of origin. You may have a suspicion that oil is coming from a parking lot that's many, many meters away, but you can't say exactly. You can only make assumptions. So it would be a non-point source. Okay. Contamination is when you come into contact with something unclean. This happens many different ways in different places. They try to keep like operating rooms in hospitals without being contaminated to cut down on infection. But anytime you come into something which is unclean, you can become contaminated, and water is also like that. Next word is bioindicator. We've talked about the prefix bio before. Bio means life. Indicator would be some kind of something that could be the indication of life. It's a biological symbol of the well-being or abundance of an organism, which is used to describe the quality of an ecosystem. Many times when people who test soil or water or different things in the environment, instead of testing it all the time, sometimes they might find an organism or a small insect or something like that, that if they see it growing, they know that the water hasn't become contaminated or there hasn't been some sort of pollution to make it where that animal can still live there. And usually these are very sensitive things, insects, plants, whatever it is, that if the environment changes, those things can't live anymore. So it's just a less expensive and less invasive way of checking whether it's been polluted in the area or not. Okay. Invasive organism. Sounds pretty violent. But an invasive organism just means it's an organism that's living somewhere that it's not native to. And this species takes over the habitat and poses a threat to native ecosystems. A very common thing that I've seen my whole life is kudzu. Kudzu is something that was brought in to help with erosion control, and now certain places you can see it growing everywhere, up power lines, up trees, other places like that. You'll get to experience invasive organism that's called parrot feather when we go on our campus tour later on this week. And then bamboo is also another one. Pandas, bears love to eat it. We don't really have a lot of pandas to eat our bamboo. Bamboo doesn't belong here. All right, nitrite. Nitrite is a compound made up of nitrogen. What it is, nitrites are dissolved nitrogen compounds in the water. Nitrates are good things because they are nutrients for plants, but they're toxic to humans. Toxic just means poisonous, not good for our bodies. Plants like them, humans can't deal with them. Okay. Some of these come from, like if you fertilize things, and some of the fertilizer runs off not being used, that could increase the nitrate numbers in water source. Next word is phosphate. It's dissolved phosphorus compounds in water. Phosphates are nutrients for plants, so good. Phosphates are good for plants. Too many causes a problem with water. Another word is turbidity. Very strange word. But turbidity is just the amount of sediment in the water. If there's a lot of sediment in the water is going to be cloudy and hard to see. If there's very little sediment, you can see the bottom of whatever the pond or whatever else you're dealing with. So, anyway, turbidity can be measured, and we'll measure it next week out there, depending on which water source you test. We'll test the turbidity of the water, the amount of sediment in the water. Okay. This is impacted, like if it rains, it's going to increase the turbidity of the water. It's going to stir up the dirt underneath. Okay, our last word means many different things in many different situations, but mitigation, when we're talking about pollution, mitigation is just fixing a pollution mess. So like if there's a mess, there's a way to clean it up. Mitigation would be a way of trying to clean up the pollution mess. So those are our words for this week. Hope you have a good time on your campus tour this week. I look forward to showing you all the different stormwater systems and the pieces of it that we have on our campus.